Yo, what is up? It's Ben here, or Lightweaver, and I have a mad update for BCFeedback. I'm just going to run through all the new features and changes with you and show you some of the cool new shit that it can do. It's pretty awesome. I've been loving it. So yeah, right off the bat, I removed the OG blend mode just to save GPU overhead. It was like a video mixer thing. The original mix parameter is still there, but it is just an alpha fade now. Secondly, I added OG saturation. So this desaturates the input clip separate to the feedback. So what I was finding is if I desaturated the clip before it went into the feedback, as you can see, it affects the way the hue banding works because the feedback's only seeing gray. But I wanted to have desaturated, objects going into the feedback. So if I just bring this back to normal and then I use the OG saturation, there we go. It keeps the banding effect whilst being desaturated, which is really nice. You can push it in the other direction too and blow it out if you want to. I'll leave that down for now. Then the next thing was OG outline and invert outline. Yeah, so this is cool. This is pretty much just creating a black outline around the source material. And this is just to help it pop out from the feedback that's behind it. And you can invert it so it's white. Pretty handy, to be honest. Then next up was the choke parameter. It's back. It was there briefly in version 1, but then I had to remove it because of a bug that happened. Anyway, it's back and it's a slider now. So choke is like bringing down kind of like an internal luma key, and it deletes the feedback in certain areas, but leaves like a harsh edge to it. So it's pretty useful if you want like less going on the screen, but you don't want that faded effect that you'd get if you were using the tail length. So bring down the tail length. You can see how it sort of fades out into the distance, whereas choke is like a harsh cutoff. Next up, then we had texture and texture density. This is another thing within the feedback loop, and texture, texturizes the feedback, and then the density, you can get it really small and grainy almost. This is pretty cool when you're displacing. So let's say I've displaced and I don't have any texture on. Let's just give it a big sweep. You can see how that there's these very wide banding areas that are happening. As soon as I add texture into the mix, you get stuff happening in those areas again. So it kind of just keeps the entire feedback loop interesting, per se. It has something going on. It looks different when you displace it too, which is pretty neat. Bring the texture down. You get more of like a glossy kind of look without it. All right, and then next we had warp. Warp is a fun one. It's a two-way slider. Going to the right fisheyes the feedback, so you get this blown out look, and then to the left it sucks in. There's also a range modifier for this down here, warp range. So if you did want to lessen the effect of things, there you go. And useful for automation too. So next up was, increase the XY scale and the hue band ranges. So I'm reading off a change log. I increased the distance. Let's crank it up. So yeah, I increased the distance that displace happens. So you can get more of a violent look, pretty much. Same with the scale and same with the hue bands. You can really crank the hue bands. Hue, yeah, and these all have their respective range sliders still. So yeah, you just got more movement. I improved the displacement behavior. This one's pretty subtle. I just, it was doing this thing where if I displaced without anything happening, it would kind of, see how it sort of like melts up into the side? It would do that, but like extremely slowly, and then it would take a long time for it to go anywhere if I didn't have any scale applied. If you have scale applied, it just sends it out. But in certain scenarios that was getting to me. What's next? Then we did clean displace toggle. So this is cool. Currently the displace pushes everything around like so. If I activate clean displace, pushes around like this. And this is just like a different style of displacing the feedback. It as you can see, you get edges of the screen, so different use cases. I found it's kind of useful for like, okay, let's say if I send it, use the negative scale, send it up into the corner, you get this sort of perspective look, which can be kind of neat. Crank the hue bands. Look at that. Yeah, it's just a bit more direct and clean. I've seen, you could push downwards like this and it just looks like it's being extruded almost. And then I'll untoggle it and you see the difference. You get this more of a melty sort of look on the default displacement. Cool, so next is the twist and twist radius. I heard some people wanted rotation. I was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. So yeah, here we go. Twist left and right. And then the radius is how much, a radius. It's just a twist effect. So if you crank it, it twists the entire screen, bring it back down, and you can sort of just twist the middle like a whirlpool. Oops, actually, I just deleted that. There we go. Cool. So yeah, rotation. I used I don't know, it took me a while to find a rotation method that I was actually happy with. So this is it. What do we got next? We've got colorization stuff. Cool. So let me just take off color pass, which is what this is. We've been operating on a rainbow. If I put on the old colorize, we're using orange right now. I'll just make it mono. Inverting the base inverts the root color that goes into the colorization and the color pass. It literally just flips the hue 180 degrees pretty much. And this is really useful as a strobe actually. So you can map this to the timeline or a BPM sync and just strobe out as you're going along. If I activate the color pass, it does the same thing. Finds the blue instead of the orange. Pretty cool effect. Then we've got the color pass. So let's get rid of this. If you're in a rainbow and then you hit color pass, selecting your root color chooses which color out of that rainbow gets let through and the rest goes to gray. So let's open this up. There we go. Purple, green, and then you can increase the pass width. So maybe I'll just bring the hue bands down so you can see. If I increase the width, it's like the window of color that gets let through, with the root color being the start of that window. So bringing it all the way down, I just get green, and I bring it up and you start to see the yellows and the reds, and then the blues come in, and when it's fully open, you're back to just a rainbow. Then you've also got pass softness. So this is the harsh, there's like a fade on that window. All the way down is complete harsh lines. You can get really thin minimalist stuff that way, or bring it up for like a feathered look. What else do we have? Cool, post-processing. Yeah, we've replaced the brightness with a new parameter called deepening. Deepen. That's down here. Cool, deepen. So this just gets the, I've had it on this whole time actually, but yeah, it pulls away the grays and just like brings out the colors. Looks really nice with the color pass, because then you get this stripy look, but just the color. And with displacing too. I can also use it with just colorize, and you get a very sort of like deep saturated look. I'm bringing it back. Takes me here. You could also, just on the note of this effect, if you're colorizing, you can also pull the skew down, the palette skew, and then that kind of gets a similar effect because it brings more black into the palette mix. But yeah, that doesn't work if you're using color pass, because the skew is for the palette of the colorize mode. So yeah, deepen just works on everything except for the source clip. Gives you a lot of pop. Oh yeah, and then pixelate. So pixelate is what it sounds like. Pull it up. You can really crank it. It becomes just a pixely mess. But this is really cool with like a bit of displacement. And maybe some choke as well, just to like dial it in. kind of look like pixel sorting almost. If you dial it in well, you can get a sort of drippy pixel look. So yeah, I've actually also added a few presets just to get you guys started. So this is the first one. It's called 8-bit Venom. Just trying to get that drippy pixel sort of look. Then we've got Flameo Hotman. Looks like flames. Then Glonky. Just because it looks kind of glonky. You know what I'm saying? Oh, feeling all glonky. Grape Bounce. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about when I say using automation. So I've got the displace and X and Y on like a BPM timer. You can then mess around with like how fast those are. Maybe we'll just go to 1 beat and we'll use the sliders. Yeah. You get like a bouncing sort of look. And then I could like bounce the X factor and like half time double timing to that. Ooh. Yeah, and then I use the range modifiers to sort of tell this how far to go, because the when I'm running it on a BPM slider, it uses the whole thing, and I don't want to be having to adjust this. You can't mini map that, so that's why I created the range modifiers. Anyway, next preset, what have we got? Lemon Squeezy. Let's get rid of this. Looks like a lemon squeezer, pretty much. Lionfish. This look I've been loving. And Optimus. I don't know why, it just reminded me of Optimus Prime. Using the clean displace. Then we got Pink, because it's pink. Rainbow. Oh yeah, this gets rid of the original mix and just mirrors the shit out of everything. So you kind of, yeah, you can see that. Then Slime Pool. Pretty neat. And topographics. Yeah, using the old edge detect. Yeah, hopefully those give you a bit of a starting point to the kinds of ways that I use this plugin. And yeah. I also wanted to show you that I've been using TouchOS to control this thing on my iPad. So I've been using these XY controls for displacement, and it's just a really nice and intuitive way to control the plugin. And I will happily give you my TouchOS file that has everything you need to control BCFeedback in it. Just send me a DM on Instagram. So I am at lightweaver.vj. And send us a follow. I'm going to be posting clips using this plugin and whatever else I make. Yeah, send me a DM. I'll send you this and a little explanation of how to map everything. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just one-to-one, but I've got a few neat little things like little reset buttons that, you know, reset stuff. And yeah, shout out to Isosceles VJ for the clip of the AI graffiti. I love this stuff. It works so well. Just the nice and flowy nature of it goes really well with the feedback. I hope you enjoy the plugin. I hope you pick it up if you haven't already. I hope you enjoy the update. If you've got it already, please send me any videos of you using it at shows. It really makes me stoked to see people enjoying the things I create. It's really what it's all about for me. I love that stuff. Send me your creations. Anyway, peace out. Thanks, guys.